His hand snatched my wrist with such force, and the other wrapped around my mouth. I could smell the stench of cigars from his hands as they pressed painfully deep into my face. See you tomorrow, class! I expect you all to have read chapter 20 by then. We closed our books and rushed out the door. Finally, the day is over, so me and my bestie headed home together. That evening, Hope and I had a plan to go back to my house. But first, we had to get our usual cappuccinos at our favorite local coffee shop. This was always one of my favorite activities, as it always made me feel like a normal teenager. You see, my parents were super strict and really didn't like me going anywhere alone. They always had their eyes on me, but this particular day, they trusted me on my own. While waiting in line, I noticed a strange man standing awfully close behind us. He remained too close for comfort and kept staring in a very strange way. I chose to ignore it, as I thought it might just be a homeless person, and shrugged it off. The lady at the till greeted us nicely, had small talk with us, and so we went on with our business before grabbing our drinks and heading out the door. Stop. Look. There's a man in front of us. I could hear my voice quivering. Hope, being her usual polite self, asked the man to kindly move. But he didn't answer and just stared at us dully. We tried a couple more times before growing agitated, because now he was just wasting our time. So we squeezed by him and his ripped clothes. He barely inched to the side to get out of our way, so we made sure to walk as fast as possible once we got through. Hope had already started talking about something else, paying no attention to what just happened, but I was still baffled. Suddenly, we hear, "Hey girls! Your keys!" The man screamed from behind. I turned around to see that the creep was holding my keys. "Be right back," I muttered before running over to him. "Thank you, sir," I said hesitantly with a fake smile on my face. "You can call me James." I didn't understand why he gave me his name. As I turned around to walk away, a hand snatched my wrist with such force, and the other wrapped around my mouth. I could smell the stench of cigars from his hands as they pressed painfully deep into my face. At that moment, I truly felt like this was my last day. I could only think of God to make this not real. Please spare me. "Do not move, or else you will not see your friend live," he said to Hope, who had now run over. I was horrified looking into his soulless eyes. "Get in my car. Now! Both of you," he said, commanding us with such force. We were so scared, so we obliged. "Don't worry. Maybe I won't end you, but instead keep you." He began rambling about some random stuff as he drove, speaking to us as if he had known us his whole life. He clearly couldn't drive properly, and his eyes were never concentrating on the road or things around him. I didn't say anything and just held Hope's hand, trying not to burst into tears. Suddenly, he received a phone call from someone that seemed to be his wife, calling her honey and other sweet words. Who would have known this man would be so evil? While he was on the phone, I noticed he was stupid enough to leave our hands and feet untied. So I whispered to Hope, "We need to get out of here or else we won't make it." She didn't respond. She was in so much stress, she had lost all color in her face. We continued to drive for what felt like an eternity before he slowed down and stopped at a gas station. "Call me Uncle James," he said calmly. I was furious. This was too much. He locked the door so that we couldn't get out, with no choice but to stay with him. We still had our phones, so we decided we needed to call the police once we were at our destination. Once he was done, he sat back in the car and pointed a weapon at our faces. "Give me your phones!" he yelled. A sinking feeling in my gut grew strong as I tried not to panic. Now we had to give it up or else we would end up goners. I gave him my phone, but told him, "Uncle James, my friend does not have a phone." He did not seem convinced at first, but chose to just ignore it. I was so relieved. After what seemed to feel like another eternity, he slowed down at what looked like a big farm. It was run down, dirty, and awfully dull. He turned the car in and parked near a barn. He had made the mistake of leaving us all alone while locking his car door, so I knew this was our chance to call the police. We quickly dialed 911 and informed them on the situation and pleaded for help. We kept the phone on so they could easily track our location, and within 5 minutes, they had arrived. We were surrounded by sirens and blinding lights of red and blue. We were so terrified as we had never seen the cops before. They broke the door open right away and began asking us so many questions. We explained how we got kidnapped and brought here. They searched the barn and the whole farm, but the man had heard sirens and somehow managed to escape. So just like that, they asked for our addresses and we were sent home. I never knew what happened to that man or if he was ever caught, but I know now more than ever to be safe and aware of my surroundings. Always trust your parents and listen to them when they say, "Do not talk to strangers." Trust your gut with people and act fast when something does not seem right.